Well, I'm Jeff Marcoux. I am the CMO here at Bombora. I am incredibly excited that you all have joined us today to learn about a solution we call iABM, but that I stands for Intelligent ABM or Intelligent Account-Based Marketing. It's a common problem that you will hear about if you saw our release on this a little bit ago. It's a common problem that faces a lot of agencies in executing for their customers. This is a problem that faces a lot of brands is how do I effectively distribute my media dollars against my ABM list, going across all of those different things as you go through that. And what's exciting is the answer to that is iABM. And so we're going to have a fun watch party. This was a presentation we did at our intent event a little bit ago to give you an overview of that. As we go through, ask your questions. We've got experts on the line. We can chat, respond, and we'll address them at the end of it here. But without any further ado, I want to hand it over.
We're here to announce a new solution, but before we start, I want to give you a little bit of context for why we built this and what problem we're actually solving. So if you look at the slide, it says B2B activation can be tricky, can be messy, right? And the question is, kind of why? And the answer is really pretty simple, right? If you think about the trade desk or any DSP or SSP for that matter, they were designed to solve one problem, right? B2C versus B2B. So what is B2C? B2C is a single decision maker, single moment in time, right? At a very cost-effective advertising budget, right? Single decision, right moment in time, highly efficient. B2B, very different problem set, right? You're selling to an organization, not an individual. So you got many decision makers, many moments in time, right? Much higher consideration. And so all the tools that a trade desk or an SSP would design are meant to solve B2C versus B2B. So if you look at what those tools are, frequency capping, for example, right? At the device level, right? A single person, not an organization. Identity graphs were built to stitch my iPad to my iPhone to my TV, no consideration of the organization. Channels, for example, CTV, it's about the household, not the organization. So we looked at this and said, these tools simply don't apply to B2B. So how can we get together and reimagine how to use these tools to solve a B2B problem? And Brent and I have been working on this for well over a year. So we want to talk about this new solution solving for B2B versus B2C.
It's great to be here representing the trade desk. We're very proud of this solution, partnering with Bombora. I work with data onboarding. I'll get into my role a little bit. I work with data onboarding quite a bit and can attest to the fact that when segments are onboarded to a DSP, the segments just fall under the overarching category title that they were pushed into the DSP under. So that can be 50,000 IDs, it can be 50 million IDs, but we're going to treat every ID signal the same. And the job of the DSP is to win auctions favorably and deliver efficiency for the marketing budget. That is not how ABM is designed, where ABM needs recognition from every single company evenly. So getting to my role at Trade Desk, I'm on a platform solutions team. I work in the go-to-market team, report up to our national head of sales. And so I get a very clear picture of what our business development team calls on, what verticals we do well at. But I work on platform solutions, which really works with our APIs. We help major companies build their media businesses to our platform. We look at how they're going to use campaign connectors, data onboarding. My department's best known for the Walmart integration at Trade Desk, which was the largest retail media business built directly to our platform. So I work with our product teams, I work with solution architects, I work with our TAM team mostly. At Trade Desk, B2B really stuck out as something that was assigned throughout our go-to-market teams, and yet the traction wasn't where I would have expected. I have a long history in B2B. I came to Trade Desk 2.5 years ago, and I had called on some of our innovations teams and wondered what was going on. And they said, we have a robust data marketplace. We have probably the most robust data marketplace for B2B data, so we must be good. And yet, we're onto other things, mostly TV. I look at our product roadmap, and that has to go through a panel of senators. Those senators represent different departments. It goes through executive committees. You can imagine a roadmap is pretty nailed down for 2 years in advance. So to get things done, I looked at the like an innovations team, which is like responsive innovation. So some of our largest clients maybe make demands about platform customization. It's majorly backlogged. Like everybody, all of our largest clients think that they're the center of the world, and so they have like customization requests like way backlogged into the future. So in order to come up with B2B innovation, and Mark, was just constantly hitting my innovation nerve, and I'm like, I know that something can be done here. And the reason I knew it was because I was working with a custom algorithm company, Trade Desk actually invested in them, called Chalice. And Chalice was writing custom algorithms using our APIs, which could affect down to the user level what we call user scoring. We call it volume control, multidimensional bidding. These things aren't available in the UI, but with our APIs and custom algorithms, there are things we could do with the platform that are incredibly granular and potentially problem solving. The thing we needed, though, was when data gets onboarded, we lose all the metadata. The metadata is where maybe the company definitions lie. Every Trade Desk ID correlates to a company, and that metadata lives at Bombora. So I said, Mark, if we really want to break through this and solve a problem, what do you say you give up your entire data file? All the metadata behind it, everything that makes your company, and all the proprietary assets, and just like, let us have it. That's never been done. But Chalice as an intermediary was a potential. And so that's what took about a year and a half, is to work out some of the commercials privacy guidelines, but we architected this ABM solution that could deliver down to the individual user, and really with a transparent reporting that's never been touched before. So this is what I think we're next gonna talk about, the reveal of what this looks like. So we're leaving a testimonial up here from our VP of Marketing, Mike Fine. But there's just a tremendous story behind it. I was sitting at a lunch at Trade Desk cafeteria. Oh, who are you? Mike Fine, VP of Marketing. Oh, that's great. Never met, the executive marketing team. I don't normally work with them. He's like, what do you work on? I explained custom algorithms. I'm like, I'm working on this B2B project. We're trying to solve for transparent ABM, and I think we've cracked it. And he fell back in his chair, and he's like, we have a huge ABM budget, and we're currently RFPing outside of the Trade Desk, which makes our CMO absolutely batty, that we have to go outside Trade Desk because we can't solve for what Trade Desk's own marketing team, our ABM strategy is, agencies, our top 50 accounts, top 500 global. So we quickly started collaborating. He's like, I can't believe this is right under our nose. You guys are solving for what we were RFPing outsourced. So we fast-tracked them as the alpha partner. It was an incredible experience to see their reaction of what was built. Our marketing team was working in ABM, but they're not really experts either. And when we started delivering the transparent reporting, they're in a situation where they'll never see ABM the same, and it was a really great experience.
Yeah, and to go on to a few more, as Brennan said, this was really grassroots. Brennan and I met, and his background was DataZoo, which was also a B2B company, and we just started riffing on all the problems that I went through with B2C versus B2B, and we just kind of, woke up to the fact that we can actually solve this together, and it's been very grassroots. Jake Henry sitting here works with the Trade Desk sellers. And we've been rolling this out now in beta. We're talking to probably 30 companies, and I've never seen a reaction to this. And Jake had a great quote last night. He was talking to one of his clients, and they said, why didn't this exist before, right? And the fundamental problem is DSPs don't contain the data that you need right, to actually create this stuff. And so we had to create a system where we could solve for identity, solve for transparency, right, outside the platform, and then be able to bring it in. That's really what we've created, and these are just some of the quotes.
So now that we've set the stage, here's an example of the type of output that you can expect when implementing Intelligent ABM. Typically, when there's no custom algorithms involved, no artificial intelligence manipulation, you can expect your programmatic campaign to have uneven delivery, oftentimes missing several lists or several companies on your key account list. The worst part about it is you won't even know it because you don't get that transparent reporting. You have no way of validating that your list is actually working, that your campaign's actually working. So what we've created is a way for you to have that transparency, a way for you to justify that your campaigns are working as intended and validate that spend. So this is just a sample report that you can see on here. Obviously a snapshot, typically a report will contain thousands of rows of data. And what's interesting here, what we really wanted to call out was that not only do you get to see the number of impressions served broken down by company and actually see the variance, but you can also see the difference in the unique IDs as well. So some of the smaller companies where you have hundreds of unique IDs, some of the larger companies that you're also hitting, and you can validate that and share that back with your decision makers.
Yeah, and just to highlight for a moment, if you look at these two boxes, right, the 48,000 uniques, right, Trade Desk is designed, again, to reach individual devices, right moment in time at highly efficient scale. Without this product, every impression you bought would go to that first row, right, and it would exhaust that row before it went down. So if you're serving to an ABM list of, say, 20,000 companies, right, and 2,000 of those are multinationals, well, guess what? Because of the way the algorithms at Trade Desk are designed, and Google for that matter, you're going to serve all your impressions to 2,000 companies. 18,000 aren't even going to get served, right? That's the problem with the way DSPs are designed. This solution corrects for that.
And we're continuing to iterate on reporting capabilities as well. This is early stages, and we're really excited to get this into general availability. And we're taking all that feedback that we're hearing about wanting that control of campaign delivery, and transparent reporting is really important to us.
So what is this thing that we're announcing, right? It's ABM at Trade Desk scale. Now you can control for frequency, you can solve for transparency, you can see where every impression is going. We're going to tie that into the insights that Chalice was just talking about. So now we're treating companies the way traditionally ad tech has treated individual consumers, right? So ABM at Trade Desk scale, complete control and frequency, and 99% on target, meaning if you've got an ABM list of 20,000 companies, we're going to show you every single impression served to every single one of those companies, and when. Also cross-channel. Now you want to do CTV to video, right, to display. That's all going to be tied in one report. So it really is a new way to do ABM and B2B at the scale of Trade Desk, and with Trade Desk behind this.
The cross-channel is massive, and it would not have been possible except we happen to have released a new version of our raw event data stream called Reds that has a product called Originating ID, which it just so happened to coincide with what we're building. So the cross-channel, cross-device, and television work with the same granularity and reporting. So that was a stroke of great timing.
Yeah, Brennan likes to say it was really kismet. Like, he had lunch with the CMO of Trade Desk and they got excited. This new product was released at the same time. And so it really has a lot of things have come together, but it's taken us 18 months to pull this together, and we're announcing it today. So I think that's it.
All right. Well, that is pretty huge at the end of the day on that one. I know I have previously used other platforms, etc. When you're targeting, a list of 100,000 accounts, and honestly, most of it was I didn't know that this was happening behind the scenes. But say you've got a Microsoft or something in there that has tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of devices, it's going to eat up the vast majority of your media budget. and so you won't reach, right, those other accounts as you're going through those. So absolutely huge as we go through that. Awesome. So I've got a couple questions that have come in here. First one up, and Jake and Tony, feel free to come off mute there. So first one that came in. So this presentation was held back at the end of May. We've made a lot of changes and officially released the solution just a couple weeks ago. Are there any updates since this presentation was given? Jake, Tony, I'll hand it to you two.
Yeah, I could probably start by taking some of this. I think the biggest updates, the reporting functionality is very similar to how you've seen it in the presentation. The frequency capping is also similar. The biggest updates we've made in the last probably about month and a half, 2 months, have been on the time to market and the speed in which it actually takes to get these audiences activated. If you have everything you need, you have the list, you know your criteria, budgets, you're ready to go. We can actually now build these audiences and get them in platform in about a week. So the time to market has drastically improved due to some efficiencies that we've improved upon on the back end. That's really the most major update I'd say we've made in the last month and a half or so.
Again, as you have questions, please enter them into the chat there or into the Q&A box. Got another one here. How does the company level frequency capping work?
Yeah, great question. So the way it works, before you start any of your campaigns, you get to apply a company level frequency cap to your entire list. So the cap that you apply does go across the full ABM list that you have. It's not at the individual company level inside of it. And so what we see a lot of partners doing is they'll have small market, mid-market, large market. They might set company level caps differently for each of those lists. We also have some partners that use this that say, hey, I have one list and it's a mixture of mid-market, large market companies inside of it. That's fine too. We can set a cap for that. And the really cool thing about the cap is that at any point in time during the campaign, we can change that cap. So if you want to increase that cap at any point in time, we can do so. If you want to lower that cap, we can also do that as well. But bottom line, the frequency cap is applied to the entire account list that you're targeting.
Awesome. Few more trickling in here. Do I need to have my own ABM list to use this solution?
You don't. Obviously, if you bring your own account list, that's the quickest path. But there's just as good an alternative. If you don't have an account list, we can actually generate one for you. We'll probably ask you some questions like what industries do you focus on and sizes of companies and things like that. And then what we'll do is we'll actually find some intent topics that pair to the products or services you're promoting. And then we'll use our company surge product to generate an account list for you. So long-windedly, if you have a list, great. If you don't, come to us. We can build an awesome list for you that you guys can use with this product.
Awesome. All right. What additional filters can I layer on to these audiences?
That's a good one. Assuming we're talking about like the targeting filters or the parameters here, you'll have access. So when you have the list, whether created by us or your own, you'll have the capability to layer on job function. So if there's certain IT functions or finance functions, things like that, you want to layer on, you can absolutely do so. You can layer on seniority as well. So if you want to go after business decision makers or IT decision makers, finance decision makers, you can layer all of that onto the audiences. And then of course, geo. We can either layer the geo onto the audiences for you, or you can layer the geo on inside of the trade desk.
Awesome. Great clarification there. Is this a global solution or is it only is it limited to the US?
Nope, it's global. So for those of you that don't know, about half our data is North America based, the other half is global, so outside of North America, and this solution supports global campaigns as well.
Right. How does billing work? Are we charged? Does our agency get charged? And does this go through the trade desk?
Yeah, so this is actually something we've, I should have added this to something we've improved upon in terms of like, what's new to this compared to when the presentation was given. This is something that's been built out recently. The good news is all of the billing is now handled through the trade desk. So you do not need to contract separately with Bombora. You don't need to sign paperwork with us to use this. We apply a $4 data CPM to the audiences. That cost covers both the data that you're using as well as the reporting. And you can get those reporting files delivered daily or weekly. And you turn the audiences on in the trade desk, you pay the trade desk that CPM, and then they act as the clearinghouse and ultimately pay Bombora afterwards. So no additional paperwork needed. All of the billing is handled through the trade desk platform.
Got another one coming in here. What if your list is small? For example, only 80 companies. Do you recommend the solution for that small list?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing, we don't really look at the size of the list in terms of companies too much, unless you're dealing with like a massive list. What we'll do is we'll take that list and we'll size it out. Is that list big enough to even run, first of all? That's probably one of the first things we'll check. And if it is, if the scale's there, it's absolutely possible to activate a list of that size with iABM. What you'll benefit in doing that, if you do have a smaller list, like you mentioned, 80 companies, really that reporting will come in. We'll look at, first of all, how many of those 80 companies over the course of the campaign are you actually reaching, in what channel? And then, of course, you'll be able to look at the frequency cap applied. So of those 80 companies, maybe one of them has really big scale and the other ones don't have quite as much. We can cap that larger company to make sure your ad spend gets across the other 79 companies more evenly. So 100%, I'd say get with your account rep and we'll size it out for you and see if it's possible.
If I want to run multiple campaigns to multiple lists, say by different industries, looks like they're calling out healthcare, manufacturing, financial services, kind of looks like they bucketed their ABM list there. Is that possible, or is it kind of I have to send the same campaign to all of them?
No, you can absolutely do it at that level if you want. If you have one list for healthcare companies, one list for manufacturing companies, maybe you even want to apply different frequency caps to those types of companies. You can run them individually if you want. So it's really all about what lists you have, how many lists you have. Every list you have, you can combine them all into one big list if you want, or you can run them as individual lists per campaign. It's entirely up to you.
Are you able to report on clicks by company or only impressions?
Not clicks today. So today it's only going to be those impressions. So which companies have actually seen your content.
I'll add on there also then if you have you might have a website tag or something like visitor insights or something along those lines is a solution Bombora offers. You can also do a little bit of correlation, tying stuff together. Did they make it to my site, right? Answering those questions with that one. Looks like oh, here's another one, which I think is on the screen. Who can I talk to learn more about this and see if it's right for us?
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, if you know your Bombora account manager today, I would just say ping them and they'll get you set up with either a deeper dive or kind of all the go-tos there on how to get started. If you don't know your account manager today, or if you're new to Bombora, go ahead and shoot me an email. My name is Jake Henry and my email is jhenry@bombora.com. And I'll put that in the chat for everybody.
Awesome. It looks like that is the majority of questions there. I know I'm seeing a couple things on people not getting their gift card here for attending. If you have any issues, check your spam filter and then go ahead and follow up with us if there's any issues. We'll make sure we get those out as a part of this. But as you can tell, we are very excited about this. We're seeing a ton of traction already in the space. Many accounts live, and it's a very exciting time because this is a problem a lot of people didn't know that they had, or that they've been trying to solve, and now we've got an answer for it. So very excited. If you're an agency, also reach out. We've got agency partners who will bring this to their clients. We have brands operating this direct and in-house as a part of that. So definitely, if you've got interest, make sure that you reach out. With that, not seeing any other questions come in here. Thank you everybody for joining us today, and we'll look forward to our next one of these. Have a good one.